So this little, I say little, it's actually quite big, daddy hog. Um, it's got a mixture of materials in there, but it's basically extra buoyant. But it's also very large. It's there to create a disturbance. And that little tufted deer hair on the front acts very similar to like an elk hair caddis. So when you give that a pull, um, it's got a skitter and create a disturbance. You've also got the big foam post there. Post, I say post, tail, body, detached body, for extra floatability. You've also got those legs as a trigger. Just a really good fly, and it's not just good for daddy long legs, it's also very good for sedge feeders. So I'll start off with a full and mill check nymph hooking device. I prefer a curved hook to a straight hook when I'm tying flies that sit in a little bit. This fly's kind of sunk, and this is a brown thread. Just suits the pattern. If I'm tying different colours, I'll use different threads, but brown because it's a tan booby. And I've only got to take that down opposite the point of the hook shank, so that gives me the space I need to work with. And I've got here a little tan foam cylinder. This is closed cell foam, so it's pretty robust and very buoyant. And I just take a flame to the tip of that, and all that does is it just smooths off the edges. Give it a wee twist in your finger just to make it circular. You just got like the little daddy end there, if that makes sense. Tiny bit of taper. And you want to catch it in, so it's like the length of the hook shank that you're tying again. So down at the bend of the hook in that same distance again, hanging over the back. There's a very specific way of tying it in as well, so the way I tie it in nice and secure. Snip off the waist end there just to tidy it up. And then just butt everything up really, really nice and tight with the thread. Didn't leave any bumps or lumps or anything. Then come round the body. And what that does is it stops it spinning on the hook shank, going to one side or the other. Those thread wraps keep it in place. So it's in line with the hook basically, all the time. I then want to get my knotted pheasant tail legs here. This is natural pheasant tail. Again, you can add whatever colours suit, but because I'm going for the natural daddy, I use the natural pheasant tail. Like I say, this is an exceptional fly also for fish feeding on big sedge, which I found out at a hill lock not so long ago. So I've just splayed the legs there, get them sort of eeksy peeksy either side, and a little bit longer than the body, that foam body. Make sure you're happy and they're splayed enough, and then come up and secure with thread wraps. Careful what you're doing here. Just come in and snip that close as you dare. Again, just bind the fibres down with some thread wraps, nice and tight. So that's it. Everything's sitting straight. Everything's level. It's all looking good. So I've now got some squirrel and rabbit mix. It's quite a thin hair. There's not that many guard hairs in this. Most of the buoyancies come from the deer hair and the foam. I didn't need trapped fibres. Just make sure those legs are even either side. Now, in with your dubbing. Again, nice and tight, like I say. Leave a little bit of space here, because we're going to do deer hair next. So, just normal deer hair. This is good stuff. This is from my friend up at the top of Scotland, Ken Kennedy, so it's the best of gear. I'm just getting a hair stacker. And I want to take about a pencil thickness of deer hair, if that makes sense. Maybe just a little bit less than a straw. A juice straw. That kind of diameter, circumference. Get in the hair stacker, tips down. A couple of dunts on the desk. So get everything lined up. Bear with me. Need a bit of pig's ear of that. So I'll just quickly do some more. So if I just do that, get everything ready and lined up. That's a problem with deer here. If you stack it and a couple of fibres go astray, you just have to cut it and start over again. I do anyway. So that's them restacked. Tips are perfectly lined up this time. See if I can pull them out without dropping any. Just take some of the fluid away for the butt ends. And I want the hair to come past the bend of the hook. So nearly at the same length as the body. And then with my pinching loop, I'm going to secure them. And rather than splay them, I'm going to keep my fingers there and go tight on top. And then come through, winding down on the fibres, creating a little bed of thread. Like so. So I've got a little collar of thread, if you like. What that does is it splays it all on the top of the hook shanks rather than it flaring around. You want it to go a bit to the sides, but so the majority is on the top. Now the fiddly bit, keeping everything separate. So I've got my working area there. And I'm going to stick a little bit of more dubbing on here. Just tidies everything up. Whether it makes a big difference to the fish or not, I'm really not so sure, but from an aesthetic point of view, it just looks a lot better. So I'm going to wind this through and over the thread on that little collar there. And what I'll also do is I'll just keep the deer hair bedded in. So I'll wind from the top down and then I take my thread through my wraps. It just makes everything really, really tight and solid. Like so. Just make sure that your hair is where you want it to be. And then pull the stub ends back. And when you're tying in the thread, you can cock it so it sits proud over the eye, up above it. So you want that stump end, like I said. And you want that so when you pull the fly, you're creating movement and disturbance. Just coming in whip finish. Nice and tidy. I do a couple, because I rarely use varnish on flies these days. I do for other people when I'm tying, but for myself, especially on dries, I don't use varnish. Just come in, snip your thread away. And what I'm looking to do here is, if I take an angle, you'll see what I mean when I do it. If I take an angle, using the hook eye as my angle up above, my scissors rest on the hook eye, and then I cut up from that. And that leaves me my little stub end, which is great for when you're pulling the fly. Pull a little bit of the fibres. Bear in mind we've got some thread wraps in here, so it's got to be solid anyway. But you pull some of the fibres up and through, and that gives you the really, really nice profile. A bulky fly, super buoyant. Great for when daddy's in the water, especially in a big wave. But I have to say it's really good in a sedge hatch. Like I say, when you get the really big sedge late on at night, whether that be on the river, you think I'm joking here, you'll get away with this in the river, but especially in the lochs, some of the wild hill lochs and limestone lochs, where you get the big sedge. That's your big fella for there. I really hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.